Hello my friends, I'm 1 Hour Game Reviews and I am playing Cyberpunk 2077 once again to see whether or not it is finally worth playing. So this one's important for anyone who doesn't, you all know. Cyberpunk was supposed to come out of the gates swinging and continue to raise the standards for gaming like CD Projekt did with The Witcher 3. There were so many promises of an amazing dream, and it was plain to see that the studio had major aspirations for greatness. But the game was anything but. It came out buggy, in a completely unplayable state, and even players like me, who were willing to overlook flaws and play the game anyways, were sorely disappointed. It sucked. And at a time when everyone had time and no great games were coming out, it was the most anticipated game of the year, and it sucked. It sucked to play it, and to see the potential, and to see it wasted by having the game crash or having some major bug throw us out of immersion. I put the game away before I finished it, and I said I would come back to it once I got my PlayStation 5, and they had time to finish working on the game and patching out the bugs. They have even announced DLC, so now they are standing by the game that is out. Finally, I am going to play Cyberpunk 2077 as it was meant to be played, and I am anxious. I'm voicing my expectations before I play this game, and frankly, they are mixed. Initially, I expected a 10 out of 10 game, or at least 9 out of 10. Now, after playing some of the game as it was, they're a lot lower. I hope that it's at least an 8 out of 10. I want it to be, but I expect it'll probably be a 7 out of 10. Regardless of how good the game is, there is no way I'm ever going to give it a 10 out of 10. How it released matters, and this is not the greatest game of all time. It will never be in that discussion. I'm back, and I bring good news. I ended up enjoying myself that I kept playing for more than an hour. I think I played about 6 hours over the course of 2 days. So before I start talking about the good and the bad, let's address the elephant in the room that is the game-breaking glitches and crashes. I experienced exactly 0 of them. There were plenty of smaller glitches, some annoying, others downright hilarious, but the important part is that the bugs that were still there did not get in the way of me enjoying the experience like they did at launch. Visually, this game was still underwhelming. Even with all the flashy specifications designed to make it look cinematic, Night City just looked bland to me, and I think it was mostly due to the smoke effect that is everywhere. The inside of Delamain's shop looked as clean and sleek as I expected the visuals to be everywhere else. Though I do get that the city is supposed to be a parody and that it's a very polluted city, so I'm willing to give it a pass there. But there aren't many interesting visuals to see in the countryside either, and you really don't get to see anything interesting in the sky. I wouldn't even bring the sky up except for the fact that a character encourages you to look at it in the main quest. If you're going to bring attention to it, I would like there to be something to actually see. But after I stopped nitpicking the parts of the game that were under-delivered and just play the game with a fresh set of eyes, the areas where the game truly does shine are brought to life. A lot like in The Witcher 3, there are plenty of well-written and entertaining side quests and Easter eggs that make me genuinely excited to explore the world. The rewards are a bit random sometimes though. For example, Delamain, the talking taxi company, hires me to find and return some cars with Berserk AI, leading to some fantastic and amusing encounters. The final reward for this car-themed questline that makes me drive around Night City is in fact, you guessed it, cash. It would be less annoying if I didn't go up to a random quest marker, find a dead man, loot his car keys, take his car, and immediately finish that side quest and getting the car as the reward. Actually, while I'm on the topic of driving, let me show you the best part of driving that I noticed immediately. Do you see it? Probably not, as it's not something you can see rather than what you feel. Haptic feedback on the PlayStation 5 is an absolutely incredible feeling. When I drive my motorcycle down the highway, I can feel the trigger push up against my fingers as the gears change. I've only seen this feature used in 1 or 2 other games, so seeing this here made me appreciate the fact that Cyberpunk 2077 came out sloppy because it was ambitious rather than a lack of effort. It's better to try and fail than to never have tried at all. The combat was fun. For me it was straightforward, but this game has a lot of different playstyles, all of which are equally viable. It was a little bit too easy, but I was playing on the normal difficulty, so I could have just made it harder in a split second. I just decided not to because I didn't want to get in depth with maximizing my gear. I'm not a huge fan of the leveling system in Cyberpunk 2077 and in Witcher 3 when it comes to gear. The skill trees and abilities in both are absolutely fantastic. I just don't like spending tons of time trying to craft and upgrade gear at every level. I don't think that this will be a huge issue, especially not in a late game, but for now, I'm just glad that I can get away with using old weapons in the difficulty I am playing. To this point has been a minor issue though. Now that the major issues are out of the game, it's easier to see the aspect of the game that shines the best. This game has an amazing storyline and characters. The main quest has a call to action that gives me a sense of urgency the entire time I am playing. I have to do the thing. If I do not do the thing, I will die. And this sense of impending doom also makes me want to explore the world. Normally, when I play an open world game like this, I spend as much time as possible doing the side quests and sometimes never get around to the main story before I move on to another game. I still have never finished Oblivion's main quest. But in Cyberpunk 2077, I want to do the main quest, and I also want to do the side quests, and that is a very good thing. So for the final verdict, what do I rate this game, and do I think you should come back to it? Personally, for myself, I am coming back to it now. Now, after everything is said and done, the game does fall short of expectations, but it is still a fun game with a great story. I rate this as an 8 out of 10. If you're like me and you bought this game with high expectations, but put it aside when it failed to meet them, now may be a good time to pick it back up and play the game you've already bought. And if not, the game has already fallen in price, so pick it up on a sale when it reaches the price you think it is worth.